Welcome back, second graders. It's Mrs. Dixon once again, and I'm so excited to be here with you as we look together at Sleuth Unit 5, pages 42 and 43. Let's begin by looking at our learning intention for our time together. We are learning to read like a detective so that we can answer questions about a story. And boys and girls, I bet you can think of the 5 W questions and the H question that we ask when we read a story. So I want you to be thinking about if you can name those 5 W's and the H's when we get to that part. So be thinking. Let's begin by looking at our 2 vocabulary words for the day. The first is comfort, and this is simply a state in which one is relaxed. So think about if you're on your couch or you're in your bed and you're reading a book or watching TV. You've got the covers pulled up and you're comfortable and you're not too hot, you're not too cold, the bed is just right or the couch is just right. That is comfort. Or if we see in the picture, she's giving comfort to the girl. She's making her feel more relaxed. And the second word is culture. Now this is a big word, and this means the customs, art, achievements, and belief of a group of people. So you can have a culture in your classroom. You can have a way that you do things, a way that you turn in your papers, a way that you line up, for example. You have achievements that you've all made, and you might all in your class say, oh, we believe that all students can learn. So you can have a classroom culture. And you can have cultures in other areas too. So let's review what it means to read like a detective. First of all, you're going to look for clues. And we know that our clues and our questions today are going to focus on the 5 W's and H. So you're going to be asking those questions. And then in your seesaw assignment today, you're going to make your case and prove it. So you'll be thinking more about how we can answer the 5 W's and what readers do when they struggle with answering those questions. Let's begin. So today we're going to look at the 5 W plus the H questions. Do you remember what they are? There's a hint on the screen, boys and girls. So we have who, which is our H question. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. So we have those 6 questions that we answer as we read. So let's watch a video that talks about this.
One, two, three, four. 5 W's, 5 W's. You can't tell a story without 5 W's. Who? A story needs a who, like a grandma or a dog or even you. What? A story needs a what? Like a birthday party or the fish you caught. Where? The story needs a where? Like your bedroom at the beach or over there. When? The story needs a when, like this morning or on Tuesday or back then. Oh, why? The story needs a why, like because you missed the bus or because they wanted to fly. 5 W's, 5 W's. You can't tell a story without 5 W's.
Hey everyone, I'm here for the song. Hello? Yoo-hoo! Where did everybody go?
Oh, boys and girls, that W kind of gets, that H gets kind of forgotten because it doesn't go with the 5 W's. So sometimes we have to remember to think about how. Now, in that video, it talked about how a story will use the 5 W's, but we can also use the 5 W's when we're looking at a piece of text that is nonfiction as well. So we'll talk more about that in just a moment, boys and girls. But I want to show you something. We're going to talk about a very specific place in our story today. And I want to show you right here we are in Kansas. I'm circling it right here in Kansas. When we look at our passage today, it's nonfiction, so it's going to be about something real. We're going to be reading about a place in New York, and New York is right here. I put my cursor here for you, so you'll see New York right here is in the purple color. So in relation to Kansas, you'll tell that we're going about halfway across the country to New York. So we're going to talk about a place called Harlem, New York in this story. And we talked about the 5 W's can occur in fiction and in nonfiction. And you'll notice that on the screen I have written for you who, what, when, where, why. I didn't do how because I'm going to let you try that one on your own. But boys and girls, when we're reading nonfiction, we also ask and answer questions about who, what, when, where, why, and how. So let's take a look. Here we go. It says Harlem is a very interesting place. And you'll remember I showed you that on the map. Harlem is in New York City. So we went from Kansas to New York over here on the map. In the early 1900s, many African Americans headed north. They left the South to find a new life in the North. Many settled in Harlem. Harlem is a neighborhood in New York City. Life in the South had been hard. There were few jobs. The North had more jobs and the chance of a better life. African Americans hoped they would get jobs in factories in the North. They dreamt of making more money. They wanted better schools for their children. Most African Americans lived in the South. Their journey north changed that. More than half of all African Americans moved from the South. However, some had never lived in cities. Cities were big and noisy. It was difficult to live in a new place. Many found comfort living in neighborhoods with other African Americans. Harlem became the largest African American neighborhood in the country. A group of artists, musicians, and singers used their talents to show African American culture. Palmer Hayden painted paintings of African Americans in the South and the North. Other artists sang or wrote about their experiences. They shared the journey of African Americans with America. And you'll see this painting right here, where my cursor is, painted by that famous painter named Palmer Hayden. So boys and girls, were you thinking of how to answer the who, what, when, where, why, and how? And I marked these for you. I marked the when. The when was in the 1900s. The where was Harlem. And who is this passage about? It's about the African Americans who headed north from the South. Why? Why did they move north? Well, I marked those for you because the North had more jobs and the chance of a better life. And they wanted jobs in factories to make more money, and there were better schools. And if we look at the why in here is because that Harlem became a famous place where the African American culture was talking about their music, the arts, all of those things that made their culture unique. And so we've answered the 5 W's of this story. And we know that the how is by traveling and settling in Harlem. So we took a passage today, boys and girls, and we answered the 5 W's and the H question using this passage. So today in your assignment, you're going to talk more about why they made the journey. And we've got some notes here, and don't forget to use good text evidence too, boys and girls. And as we conclude the lesson for today, don't forget to read 10 to 15 minutes. You can read on your own or read to someone else, but make it a goal to read, and I will see you tomorrow.